It's running. So I think we'll start. So hello and welcome to a Sole Trader live development stream. Like I was saying earlier, it's been about a month since I've done one of these. I'm looking forward to getting back into the code after doing a stack of Kickstarter stuff. Kickstarter is all-consuming. Any of you who have run a campaign will know this to be true. There's so much correspondence to write, so much stuff to do. So yeah, I've been really busy getting all that sorted. But now hopefully you can sit back and relax and see me code some stuff on the game, which hopefully will be cool. So what I want to work on today, by the way, I should also say that I'm very open to questions. Please do fire away. I won't always see them while I'm in the middle of the coding, but I'll do my best to answer them. So what I should say is today we are going to be solving the problem with the pause button. At least that's the plan. So sorry about the stutteriness. That's always the case when I try and live stream and develop on this laptop. I just can't do anything about that. So yeah, let's crack through the history generation, which is the slow bit, and then once we've done that, the game audio should stop stuttering and we should be in a good place. And it'll run very slowly because of the streaming as well. Okay, right, so now we can pick a family. If you haven't seen the game, by the way, there is some great feedback on this demo that you can get. There is also a playthrough if you look at the Kickstarter page. That's soletrader.net/Kickstarter. That'll give you a little bit of information about the game. So let's pick a character. Let's take after our mother. What do I want to do? Oh, our father's already died. How did that happen? Sad, so sad. Oh well. And then moving on, so let's work at craft. Who else do we know? Our brother's died too, oh my goodness. Ooh, and was the enemy of my grandfather, who was in prison. Nice. Let's become a courier. Okay, we've started. Right, so let's close the tutorial. Okay, the issue that many people are having with the game, demo is not really a kind of technical issue, it's more of a kind of gameplay issue in that we sometimes have to wait quite a long time for stuff to open. So as you can see here, we've got a whole bunch of stuff here, like street gangs, which are closed. Now, they're closed at the moment because it's still 10 in the morning. If you hit one of these places, like for example a retailer store or a hotel or something like that, actually hotels are always open, but a retail store is only open during the day. Now the idea is that there's a kind of rhythm in the game where sometimes things are open, sometimes things are closed, whatever. Unfortunately, that doesn't always work well because sometimes you turn up at a place and it's just closed and there's really nothing for you to do, especially in the tutorial, until the thing opens again. And that's even worse at the weekend, although the weekends are a slightly different problem because there's just not enough to do at the weekends at the moment. Also, you can see at the background, you can see all of the debug stuff going on for the traveling through different gates and stuff like that. All the ships are kind of flying around as we speak. But anyway, that's just an aside. So, basically, if you were to come across a building that is shut, then you're going to have to wait, and that can be very dull. Now, one of the ideas I talked about at EGX with various people was the idea of having a fast forward button. So we have little buttons in the corner here, and we can press the fast forward and zoom through time that way. I'm not convinced that's the right decision anymore because I'm kind of feeling that actually I want the game to be a little bit more thematic than that. There isn't really a fast forward button in life. There's an old fairy story about the kid who finds a reel of thread and keeps pulling it until he wastes his life. And I kind of feel like that about this idea of a fast forward button. It feels like a bit of a game hack to me, a design hack, to try and get around the fact that things happen very slowly. And I prefer to give the player interesting stuff to do, or at least to give them a compelling thematic reason why time should speed up, rather than just speeding up time randomly whenever they feel like it. I'm not totally against the idea of fast forward, but I want to try something different first. And what I'm going to try and do is, and I'm going to try and do that today on the stream, is to, for example, visit a hotel and chat to someone and maybe hire a room. And when you hire a room in the hotel, that will create a little button here which says basically rest until 7 AM or something like that. You hit the button, what will happen is that the time will speed up and it will stop at the following morning. That's the thinking. So I'm going to try and do that. The other thing that I want to do is have it so that you can rest until the following morning at your home. So for example, this is, I believe, our home. It might not be our home. It's where our wife is, maybe. No, that's our friend's home. Anyway, so if we were going to a home, and we could go to, for example, here, your girlfriend. Oh, that's nice. Must not get caught into the story. Must not get caught into the story. Must write some code. Okay. So the idea is that you could potentially stay the night, if that's the thing you want to do, or basically spend time at your home or your friend's homes, and potentially rest until the morning there, but only if you know them well. So that's the kind of thinking. I want to try that today. So I'm going to close the game down just for now, and then I'm going to get into the code. So my editor of choice is Vim. That's what I kind of want to start with. Let's have a look first at the code that speeds things up and slows things down, because that's reasonably easy to work with. So let's see, I'm just going to make this full screen so we can see what's going on. Okay, so we've got this thing here called speed multiple, and we have a bunch of different types of speed. So the speeds we've got, ooh, what the heck is that? Quit. Delete. Okay, anyway. Speed pause, speed real time, speed normal, main menu, and debug. So these are the different kind of gameplay speeds that we have currently baked into the system. I'm thinking we're going to need another one, which is rest overnight. And how fast do we want that to go? Well, quite fast. I mean, ultra debug, I mean, that really is fast. That's like 10 minutes, 1 minute, 0.1 minute, 0.01 minutes for a day. So that doesn't seem right at all. However, I'm sort of thinking it might be 5 seconds to get through a night. So if we have, for example, let's work this out. Let's get the calculator up. Okay, so if we have, how fast do we want to go? 5 seconds is going to be the evening. We want to do it like this. So 15 minutes is a day. We will kind of want 12 hours to pass in maybe 10 seconds. That would be the kind of thing. So we would basically want 20 seconds to a day. So 15 minutes to a day is that much, 900 seconds to a day. And we want it to be 10 seconds, which means we want it to be 90 times faster than 96 times. So that means we want to be going at 8,640 times normal speed, which will be 20 seconds to a day. Okay, so that's fine. So if we've got that, basically we need to work out a way of turning this on and off. That's the kind of next thing that I need to think about doing. And I need to think about that for a minute. Let's think. So in the game code, this is just some stuff to do with debug stuff that you don't get in the released version on the demo. So you can pause it and you can make it really fast, which is fine. There will be a pause in the full game. I just haven't implemented it in the full game yet. Simple as that. Okay. So the next thing I need to think about is where to set the speed multiple. Well, basically what we need is some kind of conversation. Let's see. Some kind of conversation option for staying the night. Okay, so that's easy. So we can do something like data, player conversations player. Okay, so this CSV file here contains all of the different conversations that we can work on. So, or that we can say. So basically, I'm going to want to do something like, if the player is talking to someone who has the inquiries set, so that means that they are a front desk or something. I don't need a particular conversation tag. The required location component will be something like restable or something. So we can rest there basically. Min closest doesn't matter, and then we can do say player ask to stay Night. Now this is tricky because you say you definitely book a room separately to actually resting. So there's a couple of things here. So let's just think about the hotels first. So room hirer, I think I'll just call it that. So that's the component we're going to use. The patience cost will be 1, the standard one for something basic. There's no test. And then if this works, then this is the next thing to do. We will do, we can say something like, that's just book room, hire room, success, or room hire success, I should say, to match the other one. Something like that. It will be just lovely. Now there's no failure tag because, so the player asked to hire a room, I guess. There's no failure tag because you can't fail to hire a room. They're not going to kick you out at this point. So, yep, that's all fine. Something quite simple. Okay, the next thing we need to do is head to the string CSV. Excuse me. You can see this is all CSV files, which means this is moddable. You probably spotted that. So I haven't actually really changed any code yet, and that's a good thing. So, say player ask for. Right, so this is the text that we use. Oh, why is this read only? No. Let's try opening that again. String CSV. Yeah, I'm not convinced that I haven't got another version of Vim open somewhere else. Doesn't look like it. I've had a crash or something, which is frustrating. Edit anyway. Player, that one there. Ask for, what did I say? Ask to hire room. So book a room. Right, so if I do that, that should have given us a new conversation option. So if I go back to run the game, ooh, interesting. Field count 12. That is because I have not correctly filled in. That's easy enough to fix. I need another column in this CSV line. Yep, that's fine. Okay, try again. So it's just that the CSV didn't have enough columns in it. Simple as that. I'm quite strict about the CSV format at the moment. It just makes it easier. Okay, this should now work. Okay, fine. So we generate a history. Let's just generate a, let's go for that one actually. Again, sorry about the stuttery music. It's kind of annoying the way it does that, but I can't help it, unfortunately. Just the streaming. I could just turn the music off. Might be the best thing to do. It gets really annoying. If someone's really annoyed by the stuttery music, please let me know and I'll just switch it off. Okay, just turn it off in the code. Right, this one I'm going to zoom through as fast as possible. There's no load and save yet in this build, which means I can't just load a previous game. Kind of annoying, but there we go. Okay, so we are now in the right place. I need to now, what do I need to do? I need to go to the hotel. Now the interesting thing is one thing I haven't done, is there's no concept of this restable component, or room hirer I should say. So that is not going to work. So if I actually head to a hotel, it'll probably crash. Continue the chat. It doesn't crash, but it just doesn't give me any options. Fine. So I need to basically here create a location component called room hirer, because it's only going to allow me to hire a room if I'm in a location with the room hirer component set, if that makes sense. So therefore I need to find out how to do one of these. So it'll be similar to this, room hirer hash, room hirer. Now you have to bear with me, I haven't actually run this code or done anything with it for a long time. Right, so here we go. It's been literally 2 weeks since I touched this code base, so this might be all a bit hokey, but we'll see. So what I'm doing here is I'm just adding another a component to the match statement call, which basically means that when we see whether or not we can do this thing or not, we will basically do the check. So in this case, I basically want to say room hirer or room lender, possible room lender. Actually, I don't need to do that. I can just say if ship, if not room lender raw, and then speaker enterer. So this is where we are, the enterable ID, which is the location we're in. So if we don't have one, then we'll just return false, which is the same as that effectively. Okay, so if we're not in a room, then we return false. And if we can't actually lend one, lend anything, then we'll return false. Now when I compile this, this will fail because there is no such thing as a room lender. So actually we want to do something very similar to the ship lender. A room lender is just someone who can lend rooms. Now I'm not going to make room lending really complicated at this point. I think I'm going to make it really simple. I'm thinking kind of something like just, it's basically a tag on the entity that says you can lend rooms. There's nothing really clever about lending rooms. The only thing that we might want to have is track a list of people who have borrowed rooms. At this point I'm thinking we might want to do room hire count, obviously that, and then room hirer. We make that 32 people who can borrow rooms. That's probably about right. So that we can keep track of who has hired a room. Now the other thing that we need is UN64 room hire deadline for each of those as well. So basically we have the entity of the room hirer and the deadline when they need to be out. So how long they get the room for, and I think you probably get a room for 24 hours or something, and then you have to hire another one or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but that'll be roughly it. Okay, so if that's the case, we've now got a room lender. Now we don't have a room lender raw method. That's not surprising because we don't have any sort of component called room lender. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the room lender component from the ship lender. It's going to be very, very similar. So I'm going to rename everything in this file ship lender to room lender, and I'm also going to rename those as well. So now I have basically a set of template methods for room lending components, which is a good start. We still don't have room lender raw. That's because we actually need to include it in the build. So I'll pop it next to ship lender. That's good. Next one. Right, now a stack of errors because the state doesn't contain any room lenders, which isn't surprising because it doesn't. So where are the ship lenders? Ship. Oh yeah, we're in the wrong file. There we go. So we need to actually put some room lenders in the state, and again they'll be the same as the ship lenders. There's only 500 of them. Okay, fine, brilliant. So now we have the ability to lend rooms. Now the only thing we don't do at the moment is for a particular organisation, like a hotel for example, we don't actually set that component on that organisation. So we will definitely need to do that. In order to do that, what we need to do is let's think about this. We need to, where do we set the ship lenders? Let's see, mask. Where do we actually do push ship lender? There we go. Okay, so if we are able to hire things out, okay, interesting. So we're going to have to look at organization types. So this is the CSV which allows us to actually do stuff like, for example, hotel here. It's the organization CSV. Now we need to in some way set this to say we can hire rooms or not. So at the moment we've got various different options here that some of these things can borrow money. We're going to need a similar thing here, which is going to be something like room hire. I'll just say book room or something. Book room. Okay, and then we'll set all of that to 0. except for, probably see where this is going, except for the hotel, this one. Okay, so we're basically saying we're going to allow people to book rooms. Yeah, book room, or room hire, that'll do. Okay, so now when I run the game, that will still work fine, except that the organization types code is going to need to be screwed with. So I'm going to need to do that. Bear with me. That's in new state.cpp. So that'll be organization type. So wherever organization type is defined. So we had a lender here. Ship hire initial. Where's that used? It'll be somewhere like that. Right, here we are. So we've got market as field 18, which means that we need room lender is field 19. And that will need to be 20 fields now. Okay, so now we don't have anything in the called room lender in organization type. So we need to just do bool 32 market, bool 32 room lender. Okay, great. So now let's actually just run that and see what happens. Okay, so it worked, and now we have room lenders, but it's not doing anything with them. So we need to come into here and say ship lenders. Actually, I need to, oops. Where did this get called again? No, it's not there. New organization, maybe? New organization. Yes, this is it here. So if the type is money lender, if the type is market, right? So what I want to say is if the type is room lender, then we need to do room lender equals push room lender state org ID. And I think that's all we need, because it will be 0. There's no prices or anything, there's nothing to do like that, so we'll just need to push that on there. Which means that now when we run it, what's wrong with that? Push room lender? Oh, we need an arena. Okay, good. Alrighty, so now, let's just zoom that up there. Now what I'm thinking that we should have is we should have a room lender attached to the hotels. And so that means that when you go into a hotel, you should be able to ask for a room. That's what I need to check. Okay, was one boy, took after the mother. Struggled with gym work. Worked hard at gym work. Became a freelance trader. Ta-da! Okay, we're here. So let's find the hotel. There it is. There's one person here. Okay, Bob. He's socializing. Yeah, no, I don't need you. I need someone who I can talk to. Because you're not going to help me, are you? That's annoying. Come on, someone needs to actually come on duty. There must be someone around. Again, you'll have to tell me if the music is stuttering. If it is, I just need to turn it off, because it could be just the live stream isn't coping with the game and streaming it at the same time. So yeah, please do let me know that if that's becoming annoying, because I can't tell, because I can't actually hear the music because of the way I've set up the stream so that you can hear it, but I can't. Right, come on then. Hotel. Ugh. This is no good. Maybe I should just hire a ship and zoom off somewhere else. Slightly bigger planet. I could do that, I suppose. Right, let's just hire a fast ship. Is it a fast ship? You've never heard of the beneficial Rosetta? It did the Kessel Run in less than 3 parsecs. That'll be good enough for me. Okay. Let's go. Yeah, I don't care. Oops. Okay, off we go. Where are we going? Earth. Let's go there. Right, let's close that and that. Okay, I should say that if you've just joined us, welcome. What we're in the process of doing is figuring out how to fast forward time through booking rooms at hotels. That's the way that I'm going to try and do it, and we'll have to see whether or not that is actually a good way of doing it, or whether it just is very bad. And I have no idea, so we'll find out. Slow down. Okay, there we go. Right, off we go. There we go. Now Earth is that direction. Let's go. Excuse me. Okay. Off we go. I should say while we're waiting, shameless plug, that we're on Kickstarter at the moment. Back us on Kickstarter. Woohoo! And all of that good stuff. So yeah, so we're on Kickstarter. Do check out the Kickstarter link and maybe even get the game early. So there's a playable demo. You can download what's almost this demo. I've obviously been making changes right now. Oh, there's Earth. Isn't it pretty? Okay. But yeah, go ahead, check out the Kickstarter and back that. Right, I don't want to go in here, but I do want to go to the hotel, and hopefully there'll be people here. Yes! Front desk. Woohoo! Book a room! It worked! So the whole point is that because we have the room lender component on a hotel, it means that we can now book a room. Now, if I click that, it'll crash. She doesn't know what to say to that, as it were. So if I go to, say, the bar, we should not be able to book a room. Or there's a spaceport, in fact, or the bank. Anywhere like that. No, you can't. Great. So that has worked. So that's a good start. Now, like I said, if I go and click on that, it will probably crash. Boom! Because there's nothing. Next statement just means I don't have a next statement. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say to you, so I'm going to crash the entire game. In fact, the entire of Civilization that was generated just then has crashed to its knees because she just didn't know what to say to me. That's pretty sad, isn't it? So anyway, I'm going to commit that change because it's a self-contained change. It's really important, I should just say this, slight kind of coding standards police turning up here, but it's really, really important to commit your code at every possibility. I just think source control is one of the best things about, one of the best things about modern development, and I can't believe people don't like it. So yeah, I'd really encourage you to try and use source control to kind of think about your code in terms of the changes you're making to it, rather than the actual, the files themselves. It helps you think about the process of your code over time. It helps you find bugs. It's a really helpful thing. So these are all the changes I've made in order to get that room hire in. I haven't made any stupid changes that I regret because I've checked them all, I've been through them all. That change there was just because I added that extra column, so that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to say room lender allows sharing of rooms. Room booking. I'll probably modify this commit in a minute. Right, so now that I've done that, what conversation option did I say? Say player asked to hire a room, and when that worked, I have room hire success. So at that point, we basically want to just do the work, and say something like, thanks very much, that'll be fine. I'm not going to offer different types of rooms at this point. I just don't think it's going to add much to the game. I'm not sure that's worth doing, so I'm just going to say something like, okay, that's fine. So in the same way that when we order a drink in the bar, it just says something in the AR response. Do we have drink in here? Yes, there we are. So there's a couple of different options. We're going to do a similar thing. So if we are in inquiries and we don't know, it doesn't really matter if we know them or not at this point, and we have, I've forgotten what the other one was. Room hire success. If the room hire success tag is set on the conversation, then we want to say something like room hire success. Fine. Patience modification is 0. What else do we have? We'll also need magic give speaker give room, actually. We'll be fine. Would you want to remove the conversation? Yes, we want to remove room high success. Perfect. So basically what I've done there is I've in response, I've created this new conversation option for the player to say, in fact I don't even need it to be inquiries, because anyone, if the room hire success tag is set, it will just do this one. And then that means that they'll be able to say something about the room hire success. So something like, say, room hire success, and say something like, here are the keys to the room. You'll be checked out first thing automatically tomorrow morning. Have a good night. Okay, so that basically just means that I'm going to put that down here a bit, actually, or up here. All that does is it just gives something for the other person to say when they actually hire the room. That's what I'm after. Okay, so once we've done that, I think that's all done. We just need to implement the stuff that happens on this magic tag, and the magic tag is for is basically just something that we set when we have finished this conversation piece. So when the player, when the person the player is talking to says this, you'll get a magic tag, magic room, give room, set on the conversation. Now the way that we do that is rather like magic G high ship, for example. So if we go to this in the source code here, we are basically doing, this is all the conversation effects stuff. So what I'm looking to do is put it somewhere down here and say magic room hire, or magic give room. I think it was just magic give room, that's it. So if that is set, basically this is like a hook into the C code so that we do something special. Now when we set magic give room, we want to actually do something. We want to actually give the player a room. Now the way to do that is quite straightforward. We know where the responder to the conversation is. In fact, I think we've probably already got that in this method. Let's see. We know where the target enterer is. Yeah, the conversation enterable ID we have is that one right there. Which means that excuse me, that means that we have this thing, which means that we can find a room lender. Now in this case we know that there is definitely a room lender. There has to be, because otherwise the magic tag would not have been set. So we can do find room lender, which will fail if it doesn't find one, which is fine. Okay, and then what we can say is inside this room lender has, let's just have a quick look. Oops, source, there we go. This room lender has a room hire account, a hirer, and a deadline. So what we can do is we can say room lender room hire I'm just trying to think about how to do this. I want to add this at the end, so I want to say room lender room hire count plus plus. But just before that, I want to say room lender room hire count. I want to basically say is the conversation instigator ID, which is always the player. So that basically means that he has now hired a room. And then what I want to do is I want to say something like room hire deadline is whatever the state time. Yeah, let's think about this. I just want it to be in the future, 24 hours in the future ideally. So what do I actually want to say here? I'm not sure. Let's have a look at date time for a minute. it's milliseconds since game start plus room hire time in milliseconds. And in fact, I don't even need to do that. I can just say 1 day in milliseconds. Perfect. So that means they get 1 day in the room, which is fine for now. And then we just add 1. Okay, so we are also going to need some kind of way of going through these to collect in loans, and that's actually fine, I think. Oh, have we just gone offline? I really hope not. Let's just double check. Just want to double check that I haven't gone offline. No, if you could let me know whether we've gone offline. It looks like we're still there. Just had a slight weirdness with my stream info here. Yep, not sure if that has actually worked. Also, the chat doesn't appear to be working for some reason. Not quite sure why. Let me just spend a moment or two, if you would just bear with me, trying to figure out why on earth the chat's not working. Should be showing stuff on the stream. Yeah, no, that's not what I was expecting. Okay, let's try doing that. Yeah, it's not very happy, is it? Oh, I know why. Because I don't actually have the chat connected, which would be the reason that that is not working. A pretty good reason, in fact. So that should now be starting to work. So let's just try that again. Yeah, that looks better. Don't know what happened there. Slightly strange. Just the way of it. Okay, anyway. Right, so what I've basically done so far is if you click on Give Room, you should now have access to the room. But that won't make any difference to you because it will just add you to a list and that will be that. So there are two things to do here. One is to remove you from that list at the given time so that you can't actually stay any longer after 24 hours. The second thing to do would be to add some UI so that when you are actually in the room, you know, it actually shows. And I think I'm going to do the first one first. Otherwise I'm going to get really confused. So the second one first. I'm going to worry about the removing you later. The other thing is, if you've already got a room, that shouldn't be allowed. So that's an interesting question. Yeah, okay, so there's a few things to do here. Let me just write them down. Remove people from the room after a deadline. Don't let them hire a room if they already have one. 3, show UI for fast forward when you have access to a room. Okay, that's what I got to do. And I'm going to do this one first, kind of perversely. Okay. I'm also going to attempt to see why we don't appear to have. Yeah. Let's try this. Let's see if the chat's working. Sorry about this. I'm reasonably new to OBS, so it just feels like it's not. It's kind of working. Yeah, I don't know. I saw another message and it wasn't there, so I don't know why that's vanished. I kind of want to get rid of that annoying message, the annoying spam message, but I don't think I can do that. Anyway, let's on with the code. Onwards. Okay, so show GUI for fast forward when you have access to room. Let's see if we can get this done. That would be really cool, wouldn't it? Okay, so I happen to know that inside the game we already have some GUI that looks very similar to this at the moment. So we have a button here which is all about ship actions. So basically, if this thing is renderable, this code here is the thing that shows the launch button, which means that if we are inside something that is renderable, then we do show the launch button. However, if we are, oh, what's this? game CPP, edit anyway, GUI launch, this one. So we want to do something similar to this, but we want to say something like, is this a room lender? Is room lender raw? And then we want to say, it says ship actions. What does that actually say in the strings? GUI ship. Right, ship actions. We almost wanted to just say GUI actions. Yeah, but that's a bit pants. I don't want it to say launch. I wanted to say, obviously, I wanted to say something like stay the night. Yeah, screw it. I'm just going to say actions for now. We can always change it when we see it. And then I also want to say GUI stay the night or sleep until morning. And that's going to be something like sleep until 7 AM. Let's try that. So if we have a room lender, we want to push that in. And we also want to do something like GUI sleep until morning. I'm going to use exactly the same stuff here, GC sleep until morning. Okay, and that's the callback ID. That will be fine. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, so basically if we now have a room lender, we will basically set up the sleep until morning thing. Now we've got a GC, we need a GC launch in the same way. Got this thing here. We need sleep until morning. Now this is an interesting thing. We've basically got to set the speed multiple. We could just do that right here. We could something like set sleep speed multiple equals speed, and we can make that hotel. What did we say? What did we say? I've forgotten. Rest overnight. But the question is, how do we stop it? Which is a problem because yeah, I'm not sure. Oh good, I'm glad we're still online, that's great. So yeah, glad it's all still working. Okay, so yes, thinking. So we can set this very easily, but I want to stop it. So when we get to 7 AM, I want to actually stop that, which means we're going to need some other check. Well, that's, yeah, I suppose we could hack something in here. We could basically check every frame. If the speed multiple is speed rest overnight and it's 7 AM, then stop. That's not terrible, actually, believe it or not. That isn't awful. I mean, it's pretty awful, but it's not terrible. I think we should just try it. So if we set the speed to speed rest overnight, we'll just do that. And we can also then, we've got an hour change thing here, which basically just refreshes the GUI. Now why don't we just put if state speed multiple equals speed rest overnight, and what does this message hour change actually have in it? Nothing. Great. And state time hour equals hour to wake up. Then we can set state speed multiple. This feels like a bit of a hack, but I don't really care because we haven't got any other code in here. Speed normal, yeah. That does anything like this yet. So we're hacking it in for this, but it's not terrible. It's not the worst thing in the world. Right, okay. State room hire. Okay, we've obviously just got some stuff wrong here. Room hirer. Yeah, that's fine. Just spelled that wrong. Room hirer, hirer. Oops. Hirer, okay. Okay, just fixing bugs now. Room hire deadline. Did I mean room hire deadline? Yes, I did. That one is room hire deadline. That's kind of confusing, but that'll be okay. Hour to wake up. What we could do at this point is we could say, okay, you've lost your room. So you basically get to stay in it once. That's actually not a bad idea. Yeah, I'll think about that. Right, hour to wake up isn't set. Yes, that's because it's really not set. So we can do static const uint32 hour to wake up equals 7 a.m. That's a good time to wake up. Okay, right, that compiled. Amazing. So once we've done that, now we need to think, go back to our to-dos from earlier, and this is why I love source control, because I can just look through my diffs to find my to-dos. And the answer is they're here. Okay, fine. So remove people from a room after a deadline. Yeah, still need to do that. Show GUI for fast forward when you have access. Yes, we're doing that. Don't let them hire room if they already have one. Right, so I think this could work. I think we should try it. Could all go horribly wrong, but we're going to try it anyway. Okay. Generate new history. Again, I'm going to have to zoom through. Zoom, 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 zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Stuttery sound, probably. I don't know. Is the sound stuttering? I have no idea. I can't hear it. So it's perfectly quiet in here for me, but not for you, probably. Okay. The reason there is no sound is because I haven't set it up correctly. Now, I've just generated the same system, which means... Oh, interesting. Ah, now that's completely wrong. Ah, yes, of course. Right, so there's obviously several things wrong here. So let's just think about them. So the first thing is that we need to check to see whether we are on the list. So who is the person, the viewer ID? So we basically just need to do for uint32 room hire index equals 0. Room hire index. What we need to do is actually go through this room lender list, this thing, and check to see if we're on the list. At the moment we're not on the list, so it's showing it to everyone. This will be room lender, room hire account, room hire index plus plus. Okay, so we basically need to say uint32 hire ID equals room lender room hire hirer room hire index, and we need to say if room hirer ID equals viewer ID, then we can actually do some of this stuff. Otherwise we're not going to. And then we can break. Otherwise we'll just keep going through the list. Fine, so that'll only now show if we actually borrow a room, which is the right thing. I've just realised something else I've forgotten. 4. Charge people some money for rooms. Controversial. We are going to charge people money. I'm thinking about maybe $10, something like that. Which we're not doing yet. What happens, that's more complicated because it's like, what happens if they don't have the money? Which we need to check. So potentially they can't hire we can't give them the room, which means we need to say something else to them. If they can't, now this is a gameplay problem. If they don't have enough money to actually go for the room, then they're going to get really bored of the game. And the reason is because they run out of money, so they have to wait around. And waiting around, they might just switch the game off. So in some ways, do I want to charge? Maybe, maybe not. I'll leave that one. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't charge. I might not charge. What do you guys think? Should I charge? Should I charge for room hire? I'm just not sure. Maybe I should. So let me know what you think. I'm not putting that in anyway right now. Right, so the sleep until morning was a problem because the button was just not right. So sleep until 7 AM. I could just say sleep. That's not terrible. So let's try that. Right. Game design. Game design is hard. Don't know if anyone actually knew that, but it is really hard. Okay, so I'm not sure about the charging. I need to think about that. It may just need some playtesting. It may just be irritating. It doesn't really present the player with a meaningful choice. Let's choose these people instead this time. That's what I'm concerned about. Ooh, he looks freaky. Okay, right. View. Hotel. Have I missed the hotel? Where's the hotel? There's always one hotel in Ryakat. 8 people. Should be plenty of people to talk to. My great aunt. They're all socialising. Is anyone at the front desk? No. Why has no one got the front desk job at hotels? Maybe it's the wrong time of day. Maybe I need to fast forward. Oh wait, I can't fast forward.